Hey guys, we are back. Sorry, there was some network issue. So we are back again with the same topic. So continuing. So I showed in the previous video how to balance the gimbal with a 200-500 mm lens, right? So this is the lens again working at 200 mm. So then what we have a length at 500 mm. So we balance this entire camera and the entire lens on the gimbal. Right, so now we'll talk about some of the settings what you need to understand before trying to balance the machine. Right. Hi. Thank you for joining again. There was some network issue. Okay, let me try to get some things closer. So these are the markings. There's a center mark, plus and yes, you can say plus and minus. Right, so where to keep it exactly? So as you change the focal length, you have to change the center of gravity. That's the number one thing, because the camera will start to fall. Since I have increased the focal length, it will fall. You can see it is going down. It's not balanced gimbal, right? There are two ways to do it. Number one, either change this position, slide the camera back a bit, 2 points, and lock like the way I did, right? So it will not fall. See, it is balanced, it is locked. There is a second option to lock the camera. Hi, welcome back. Sorry for that disconnection, the network issues. The second way, so first is, as I said, to adjust with this part, the base plate, move it front and back as per the focal length of the lens. So this is on 200 now. Now 200 this will fall down. You can see the battery grip and everything is putting a lot of pressure and it will fall down. So how to balance it? Just open it at 500 mm and the machine will be balanced. See, that's how this 200-500 mm works. However, with lenses which are working with a single mechanism of internal focus, which are not having these up, moving forward and backward tube kind of a thing, they will be having a single setting. Just lock it and keep it. That's the simple way. Second, let's suppose my camera is unbalanced, right? It's not properly balanced. There is something I need to capture and it's there in front of me. How do I do it? Now we come down to the locking mechanism. This, we tighten the knob, we tighten the tension, and it can still hold it. It's almost the same thing. Lose it, it will fall. Tighten it, it will hold. More or less the same idea, right? Not necessarily required that you every time have to slide the base plate and these kind of things and do these kind of mechanisms, right? However, as I said, since I am a photographer who is shooting mostly at 500 mm, so I'll have a reverse mechanism, which is at 200 mm I'm using, let me show you this thing. At 200 or lower focal length, I'm using the lock to, keep a hold of this. So, it's very tough, really tough. And with 500 mm, let's extend the full focal length to 500. As you can see, here it is. So it's a 500 mm length. Now the camera is balanced. See, considering the fact I am using a battery grip, which is having a battery inside. Right, please consider that. So if you have a battery grip, the settings on this part will be slightly different. You have to stretch it backside towards this side, right? And if you are having a flash or any other accessory on the top, on the hot shoe mount, the settings will be slightly different. Again, you have to push it a bit. So most probably in my case, it could be here as per the experience, this mark which you can see, right? Now these are the basic settings which I told you about how to use the lock function of the gimbal. It's a quick release plate. You just simply go and click and lock. There is another lock which will help you to stabilize this motion. And there is another third lock which will help you to lock this. So let's say if I want to lock, so let's suppose I want to lock the camera in this position. Now it is just going up and down. It will not go left, right. I cannot move it. You can see it's locked. If I release this, now it will go left and right wherever I can move, right? So it becomes lightweight, and it's an awesome experience to use a gimbal. Few more points to consider. So as I said, depending on the weight and the balance and the accessory that you are using, you need to adjust these kind of knobs and you need to play along with these kind of accessory. What is the difference between a balanced and a non-balanced gimbal? If you don't balance it correctly, what will happen? Let me show you live. So we try to disbalance it a bit. Still balanced? More. Now it is disbalanced gimbal. You know what will happen? See, the camera will try to fall like this. It will go down because of the battery grip. Now this position is really difficult because you need to hold the camera. You will try to see through a viewfinder and again the camera is falling down. So that becomes difficult for you. So you require to have a balanced gimbal, as I said, by measuring these gaps. However, there is a second trick with a gimbal. You can slightly tighten it up. You are in a hurry, there is no time to adjust this parameter. You can play around with this knob, right? I am a person who loves to keep this knob on the right side, since I can play with this the camera controllers on the right and simultaneously can access this also. There are people who might keep this at left. However, I have noticed that if you keep the camera on the left, these controls might be of some issue for you to handle. So I recommend keep the camera like this, keep the gimbal on the right hand side of the camera, so that you can control the shutters, etc., everything, and you can do this. One more reason to keep it on the right is this focal length and focus adjustment rings. So you can move it easily. So you can see there is no hindrance. If I need to change some option from manual auto or maybe from full to some 6-meter focus or VR on off, normal sports, etc., whatever mode I need to select in my camera, it is, I can do it free. But if it is a gimbal kind of a thing which is coming in between, it's slightly becoming a different option for me. So that's the reason I keep the gimbal head on the right. Welcome all. Some new members have also joined. Welcome Vikas ji. Welcome Ratna ma'am. So just welcome all to the small session for the gimbal. So this is my recommendation. So camera settings on the left, gimbal settings on the right, and you are free to move, right? So just keep it on 500 mm, release it, let's balance it again, and there you go. Now this setup is as you can see, I have loosened everything. Now this is a completely balanced setup. It's not going anywhere. Okay. Now having said that, since my tripod is slightly towards right side, so you can see the tendency, it is trying to go to the right. Having said that, one more thing to be taken into consideration. What people have been doing wrong, at times I have seen them. So for this I might have to remove my cell phone. Very, very important part. Can you see this part? So this is the part. The base plate needs to be at the zero level. If it is here, the balance is not going to happen. If it is here, the balance is never ever going to happen. You have to be very, very careful that you need to fix the base plate exactly precise at zero location. This is the point, right? So once we balance the plate here, everything will start as per the need. Otherwise, what will happen? The camera will have a tendency to fall either in the front side or in the back side. Depending on the weight, yes, things will be slightly different for you and me. One more accessory I would like to recommend. If you are having a gimbal which is costing you a lot, thank you sir, thank you. Go for this kind of a gimbal coat, just like we have for a lens. We have coats for gimbal as well, right? So we have loosened it, it's there. So we have a coat for gimbal now. So it's easy to handle, helps in some sort of camouflaging, matches with the overall equipment. So try to keep the gimbal head and the lens in almost a matching sequence. One of my recommendations, right, to go for. You can choose from any of the brand, any of the product maker which is available in the market as per your need, right? So that's up to you. I am personally comfortable with Wildbox as a brand, and I'm really happy. I have been using this product for past quite some time, approximately 2 years or something. So yes, I'm happy. So this is a small recommendation. You can go with any brand, whatever you like, right, which comes to you. So this was all the topic which I had for balancing the camera on a gimbal. So if you have any questions and queries, so we are trying to balance this huge camera using a battery pack as well. So that's the battery pack again involved in a Nikon D500, as you can see. So this is how we balance the camera as per different focal lengths. So if you have a lens which doesn't have this extension tubes kind of a thing, the tube doesn't go here and there, then just have to balance it one time. But if you are a Nikon user 200, 500, or the lens goes up and to and fro like this, then you have to play around with the settings which I mentioned, right? So there are readings there, there are no, so everything is marked. As I said, base values, base plate values, keep it at 0. So this part is crucial. So this is really crucial, and keep it tight. It should not be loose, otherwise the entire camera will fall on your hand and this might create a trouble. Everything in this gimbal can be assembled very easily. It comes in 3-4 parts. One is the base plate, one is, to hold the camera, of course, and one is quick release plate and all. So if you have any questions regarding the gimbal, if you have any questions regarding how to balance it, if you have any questions regarding, or maybe you tell me what accessories do you use. So if somebody wants to join in the live video also, you are more than happy to join me up. So if anybody who is looking forward, just send me an invite in the live video, we can take them live. If you have any question or if you have any information which you would like to share to me, you can mention me in the comment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Some people are watching. Thank you. So this is the entire setup which I use. So Benro GH2 gimbal with Nikon 200-500 on a D500 body with a battery pack, of course. And this is how we balance the entire camera. Right, so preferably it's easy, so much easier for me to handle the camera left and right. So as you can see, I can move it like way too fast, can go up, can go down, any direction where I want, right? So this is how we use the camera. Stable, of course, you can see this will remain intact and stable. A very good option if you are looking for, trying to make some videos. You can use the screens, etc. like this. Camera goes up, use the screen, tiltable screen options are there. Camera goes down, you can still use the screen. So those options are still there with Nikon. So really happy. So any questions, doubts, queries which I can help you with the gimbal. So this is the live session. We are talking about a gimbal head in this video and how to balance a camera. Balanced gimbal property is that these connections these screws needs to be fully open. So that's it, so that it can move freely up and down, left and right. So that's the property of a balanced gimbal. So all those people, friends, members who have joined me later, kindly go through this video once again, and thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So you can go through this video again. If you have any questions, if you have any queries regarding gimbals, please feel free to ask. If you have any queries that you are not able to balance a gimbal, please feel free to ask, right? This is our community, this is our group, and our friends can definitely help you out on how to balance a gimbal out there. So this is the gimbal. You can see it's completely balanced here, like it goes. It depends. So Avijit Das Gupta ji has a question. What is the cost of this? Well, it depends on interstate taxes, etc. But technically, it should range somewhere between 25 to, let's say, around 35,000. So that should be the range of the gimbal which I mentioned. So gimbal means this part which I have mounted on the tripod. Hopefully, I have answered your query. I'm not really sure about the current cost as of now, but yes, once I was there to purchase this gimbal, this costed me somewhere around 35, and I bought some more accessories. So yes, there was something else. So my bill was total around 46 or something. But now, because everything is costing here, so the gimbal coat is also there. So this will also cost you some money, and the gimbal, of course, is costing you something. So that's the lump sum idea I'm trying. So if you have a budget of somewhere around 40-45, if 30 plus, go for a gimbal if you are looking for. Recommendation. So there is one slight recommendation again. So that's a good question once you're talking about gimbal and a tripod. I had this tripod, Vanguard Ultra Pro 26380, which is an aluminum base. So as I answered, gimbal price you can say around 30k in India. So that could be the reason. You can check the online platforms, or maybe I can ask some of my dealer friends who can help you out with this if you want. So around 28, 30, 35 up to max, I guess. So that could be the gimbal price range. Now, as I said, this is one part. The tripod is separate. So depends on what kind of a tripod you are using. The costing of the tripod is really separate from the gimbal. So these are two identities. One is the gimbal head and the other one is tripod. Let's say tripod is costing you 15,000 and this cost you like 30. So that was the reason. So yes, this costed 15,000 and this was somewhere around 30. Total cost was somewhere around 45 for this, and then I see somewhere 8k. Okay. So let me clear some doubts here. I got your point, what you wanted to say. So pricing of a gimbal actually depends, on company. Here it is Benro GH2, which is the top notch. You can see Wimberley is the topmost, and then Benro is there. So Benros and Wimberleys, if you talk about, we are costing around 80, 85, 70 plus, something like that, right? Benro is slightly cheaper than Wimberley. However, the functionality wise, just hold on. So Wimberley is expensive, Benro is slightly cheaper. Functionality wise, yes, Wimberley is one of the best, which I still recommend, but that's out of the budget for me. So I'm satisfied with Benro. If you go for a low budget, things will start from even 5,000, 4,000, for that matter 3,000 as well on online. But see, honestly speaking, when you are talking of a heavy setup like the machine I am having, I would recommend you to go for something which is slightly stable, because end of the day we need the stability of this. Like I'm shaking this, it is not falling down. It should not fall down, because that entire setup, it's simply, you can say it's like 2.5 lakh rupees hanging in the air just on a pair of 3 legs, right? So we don't want the setup to fall down to cause damage. So that's the idea. And since it's a one-time investment, you will not be upgrading gimbals and tripods again and again. So go for the best as per the budget allows. Go for the range 8k. If it solves your purpose, go for it. Difference will be, I'll tell you, it will not be this much smooth like the way I'm using it, right? So it will be slightly rough, but ultimately the purpose is to keep the camera up and down, move the camera left and right, make the video, you can keep a hold of it. So that purpose is solved, that can be answered. So yes, 8k again is the range you can go for, right? But just keep the better the quality, the better the pricing. Any other question? Abhijit ji, I hope I've answered your query. So that's one more question coming. So we try to discuss it. So if anybody wants to come on live session, you are most welcome to join me on the screen. Ask me question directly, we'll try to answer it then and there. So yes, this is, I'm using Hiffen 530, find it quite good, it's 8k. Thank you. Okay, so Akshit Gandhiji is saying that I'm using a Hiffen 550 since 3 months, find it quite good, it's 8k. Thank you for the information, good information for all. As I said, it's completely dependent on individuals' preferences and the budget. If budget allows, go for the best. If yes, then again you can go for some of the option which satisfies your purpose. So this is the Benro GH2 we are using. So I'm using the Benro GH2 gimbal. So few people are there who uses Benro, and very few who are there who are using Wimberley and all. So I'm a Benro user. So this is a small video. My intention is how to balance it in the video. So yes, more or less the technique is same. The smoothness is slightly different in both the cases, and of course how to set up the gimbal. So that was what I tried to showcase you today. Any other questions, please, or should we end the session regarding the gimbal and of course the camera? Sorry if in 550 is a tripod. Okay, I didn't know. That's okay. Thank you for updating us. So good to go. Try so most of the company. What about ball head? Okay, now that's an interesting question. Great. So I had another video which is live on the same group. I'll try to reshare the link. So you know what happens with the ball head, how the ball head works. This part of the, so there's a, so I'll show you. I don't have a ball head now. I've given it to one of my friend. So this much part is same. There is a ball which you can move left and right, and it will, you know, fix. There's a quarter screw up there, so it will move left and right. Problem is with the ball head, what I felt like here, I'm really comfortable keeping the camera stable. You can see it is absolutely parallel and straight. It is not like SA left, it is not like SA right. With the ball head, I was having issues how to keep the camera stable, parallel. I wanted a shot like this, not a tilted shot like this, right? So that was one of the concerns. Second, ball head is good to go in left right motion. This is the same moment which I am replicating is of a ball head. What about the up and down motion? How will you manage this? Right? You have to loosen the ball. So you have to loosen the ball. Then you can move up. Then you have to tighten it up. By this time, the entire scene is changed. You won't be able to capture it. That's my personal opinion. People are experts. People are good doing with ball heads also. So yes, that's my personal opinion. Hence, if you want to take a shot top of a tree perch, if you want to go for a water body shot where you want to keep the camera parallel, go down, so these movements are possible only with a gimbal. I have made one more video which I'll share the link. I'll try to share the link in comment section also. How to use ball head as a gimbal. The same movements which I said, left, right, up and down, these can be achieved from a ball head as well, right? So people who are using ball heads, don't get disheartened. I'll definitely share a video how to use ball head as a gimbal, or you can search it over internet how to use ball head as a gimbal with my name Abhinav, ABHINAV, PWNIA on internet, Google, and you'll get a YouTube link and you just click it up and try to see it. So I tried to explain those things. You can search the same thing on Facebook also. Search Facebook, use ball head as a gimbal and Abhinav Punia. You might get some of the other information. So I have made a complete video out of it. So it's not something like that you should not use a ball head. You should use a ball head, quality ball head, and they can be used like a gimbal. Any other questions, sir? So this is the challenge that I faced with the ball head, replaced it with a gimbal. So I'm happy now. So it's been there with me for 2 years now, going strong, steady. You can see it's rock solid. I can keep my armrest, can act as, can use the camera, can hold it, just simply press it, gets locked, can use this knob to avoid moving left right motions, etc. So I'm happy. So that's what my personal opinion is. Any other questions from anyone, or should I end the session? So I guess we have tried to answer some of the queries. Here we are talking again, I'm repeating the ball head and it's not the ball head, sorry, the gimbal head and the tripod. Okay, so I was talking about the tripod. So when you talk about the tripod now, like this, so there is a shake in this tripod. You can see this is the shake. So the camera is exactly, this is Vanguard Ultra Pro 26380, which will give you a slight shake like this. My gimbal is stable, everything is there, but the tripod is bit shaky because it is aluminum based. So if you go for a heavy tripod or a better quality tripod, you won't get this kind of a shaking. One more drawback which I felt is the center column, right? You can stretch the legs apart, but the center column won't allow you to go absolutely parallel to the ground. That is one of the drawbacks which I felt. That was after purchasing the tripod. So my recommendation, if you are going for a tripod, try to go for a tripod which doesn't have this center column. It should be a quarter plate like this. Quarter column should be there, this center column should not be there, so you can stretch the legs apart, right? That was one of the call. Go for a carbon fiber machine, carbon fiber tripod, which is more stable compared to an aluminum. And yes, in terms of extreme summers or in terms of extreme winters, in both the ways, you won't find any heated or chilling issues in your hand, which I certainly face with aluminum tripod on a longer run. So that's one of the recommendations. But yes, aluminum tripods are also of good quality, and they also are a support system for your requirements. So go as per the need. They can start from like 10-12,000, can end up to 50, 60, even more than that. So it all depends on what is the budget you have, or how much amount you are planning to spend, and what is the requirement that you are looking for. So generally I am a videographer, so in terms of making a video, this setup is working with me perfectly fine. See, entire thing is completely locked up, it is not going to fall down anywhere, right? So for me it works, right? So that's one quick tip for the tripod. Anything else I can help you with? Any other questions? So this is the tripod and of course the balanced camera that we have. So you can keep it like this and can move it here and there. So this goes like this, up and down, can move it here and there. So these are some of the topics we are trying to cover. Any other questions? Anybody else? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we'll end the call now. We'll end the session. So stay safe, stay indoors. We'll be waiting for more bird walks and everything happening after the COVID situation gets over a bit. And till that time, yes, stay safe and let's teach, learn, and share our experiences. So we learn from each other, we share our experiences. So this session might be of some information to you. Some people might have learned something. Yes, you can go for, that's not an issue. So it's kind of slightly relevant for this session. The topic is should I go for a Nikon second hand 200-500? You can go for it. If the lens is of good quality, you go for it. Try that there should be no scratch on the element, there should be no fungus on the elements. It should be a neat and clean lens. So if you get a good deal, just go for it. Many people are there who are upgrading it up. Let's say if I am planning to upgrade my 200-500, so this is an intact lens. So the kind of thing, you find some good people there, and just try lens and try that lens, and if you're happy, just go for it. Not a big issue. You can go for it, not an issue. People go for it, second hand lenses, so that's not a problem. So we'll end the session here, right? It's been a long session. So thank you. Hopefully I've answered all the queries. This is Abhinav signing off.